Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Dale Amor, as you already know. And for you guys who don't know who I am, my name is Dale Amor. So today I'm going to be talking about natural born hair haters. And I'm also going to be dropping some tips, especially for the guys, because my brothers be slipping. Entonces, estoy aquí con un otro video y vamos a comenzar. If I can describe what a natural born hater is, basically a natural born hater is not somebody that's like in your face outright with their hateism. They're more of the
saying slick things out of their mouth kind of haters.
You know what I'm saying? Because you want to stay under the radar pretty much when it comes to your haterism. Basically, if I can use an example, right? Now, this is how you know when you're being approached by a natural born hair hater. Once I tell you this, you're probably gonna think back and be like,
yo, somebody was that hating.
So basically, right, when a person comes up to you or walks up to you with this face, like, first of all, I already know you about to say something crazy out your face, and I'm ready for you. Like, we're not doing that at all. So when a person comes up to you like this, usually they'll say something like, why do you wear your hair like that? Or something stupid. And it's like, no, nobody asked you. And also, why are you asking anyway? Like, why is it so important for you to know what my goals were for my hair today? Why are you letting your hair grow? And first of all, when you do that face, I'm already instantly annoyed and offended.
Y yo no tengo tiempo para esa mierda.
Because you kind of look like, correct me if I'm wrong, but you
look a little disgusted.
Anyway, let me tell you guys a story, right? One day I was in college and I was sitting down, trying to absorb the information from what I was learning in school. So, I'm minding my business usually, and I just feel like this little, tug at my hair. So at first I wasn't 100% sure, because when you have curly hair and stuff like that. But I kept feeling it, and I'm like, so I turned around and there's some girl behind me and she's pulling at my hair. And then when I look at her, she's like,
oh, I'm so sorry.
And I have a hard time accepting that, because you
knew what you were doing, and you just didn't ask. You just gotta ask people to touch their hair.
I don't like when people just take upon themselves to just put their hands in your hair. I don't know where your hands have been. I don't know what you're doing to my hair and making it appear to be something else. So it's kind of like, no, don't do that. Don't do that. Don't touch my hair. Don't touch my hair. Okay, so there was another time when I went to the salon to get my hair washed. I used to go to the salon all the time to get my hair washed, and it's a nice feeling therapy that you can get. However, when it comes time to drying the hair, you sit in the chair. Now it's time to start drying, and this is how I'm able to pick out another natural born hair hater, because while I'm getting my hair blow dried, the dryer is getting hot, so I'm doing I'm like this, and you know, she's like, it's hot. And I'm like,
I know I'm not the only one seeing smoke.
But instead of like turning the blow dryer down, you know, she's like easing up, but then eventually starts getting like aggressive again. And I'm kind of like,
this is not a mannequin.
This is not a mannequin.
So you can't just put all this pressure and put all this, you know, extra intensity into this hair dryer. You're just drying hair. That's it. You're not doing anything that is causing for you to be so aggressive. Like, I don't know who upset you, but
it wasn't me. I didn't do it. Like,
it wasn't like I didn't, whatever it was. Look, I'm innocent. My hair is innocent. So please, like, back off a little bit. Because you know what you're doing. And this is what brings me to how my brothers be slipping. Now, don't get me wrong. I do understand that most guys are not able to do their own hair, and in results to that, we refer to another person to do it for us. Especially like when it comes to doing like braids, twists, or any particular style, you know, for something to last, or, you know, just something protective. So I get it. However, you have to do some type of research. The same way that we go and we look high and low and we, you know, take a fine tooth comb to find a barber, we have to do the same thing when it comes to somebody actually dealing with our hair and handling it. Because a person could be the nicest person in the world, but not know what they're doing, or not know how to handle your type of hair, or not know how to handle your hair, or to deal with your hair in the most gentle, most responsible way possible. And we go into these places, and the person that's doing your hair, they're giving you all kinds of advice about how they feel like you should do things and different things of that nature. And then to top it all off, they're like, oh, I think you need a trim. And it's like, I noticed in my experience over the years, people in salons, hairstylists in particular, they are extremely scissor happy. I'm talking about they get the scissors in their head, and next thing you know, you got some type of bolt cut or what, I don't even know how to say it. Because at the end of the day, you go from having this much hair to this much hair, and they're like, oh yeah, it was damaged.
The only thing damaged is your damn head.
So how the hell are you gonna tell me my hair was damaged when I didn't ask you to cut? Because first of all, as soon as you, and I know so many people can relate to this, when you give them the consent and be like, oh yeah, you can take a little bit off or whatever like that. We're talking about something like this. Like that. You see that? Like that. Like that. And it's like, okay, yeah, because you know they'll try to convince you like, oh yeah, you need a cut, there's a little damage at the end, da. So it's kind of like, okay, I'm gonna trust you to take just a little bit off. But as soon as you get that okay, you go from having this, saying this much, to this much of your hair getting cut. This much. Who told you that? Who gave you permission to do this? Who? Because I didn't. That happened to me at least twice in my whole life. And I had to spaz out because
I'm like, wait, hold up.
How you cut that much? Like, you didn't even like along the way like let me know like, okay, I think I might have to do a little bit more, because then now I can tell you like, nah, it's cool, let my hair grow a little bit more and then we'll do it again. But we're not doing it all in one shot if you seriously feel like it's necessary. But no, it's just cut, and then boom, that's it. Or whatever. Now you got to deal with this whatever cut that they gave you, and now your hair is growing out and you're going back through whatever stage that you just came from not that long ago with your hair journey or whatever you're doing. And you got this chick to thank for that. Now, another thing that I wanted to mention about natural born hair haters in salons, particularly or whatever. One day I went to get my hair braided. Now, my hair doesn't like braids very much. Not cornrow types anyway, because as soon as it's in there, maybe 24 hours will go by and it looks like it's been in for 2 weeks. I don't know what that's about, but whatever. So I get my it was actually a recommendation. Somebody was like, oh, you should go to this hair salon. It's not like, it's not like, the Africans or whatever like that, because not to discredit anybody or to, take anything away from anybody, but I grew up in New York City. And in New York City, you have hair braiders, which happen to be African. They are along whatever main street. And, they ask, do you want your hair braided, different things like that. And these particular hairstylists braid extremely tight. They don't care about the texture of your hair. They don't care how short your hair is. They're gonna catch it. They're gonna catch it. If your hair is that short, which you told the person to cut earlier, like, no, just this. If your hair is this short, they're gonna catch that in some cornrows. And that's not particularly the safest, most, healthy thing to do with your hair, because that's just way too short. And the fact that you just put this in cornrows is nothing short of amazing. However, hair is not supposed to be treated in that way. However, I digress. So the person was recommending this hair braiding spot, and I was like, okay, I'm gonna give it a chance, because I felt like anywhere that I went to get my hair braided, my hair just wouldn't stay in. And I don't want my scalp pulled up just to keep some braids in. So at the end of the day, I was like, okay, I'm gonna try it out. So I went to the place, and I told the lady, I told her specifically what I wanted, how I wanted it, and I was just hoping for the best, fingers crossed. So I sit in a chair, and I'm getting my hair braided and stuff like that. And she asked me, because I had some spots in my hair that was slightly shorter than others, but it's whatever. Like, I'm like, whatever, just braid it up. Like, but she was asking me, she was like, do you want me to add some hair in there? Now, I told her no. I said no. And she was like, oh, okay, or whatever, because I don't want synthetic hair in my head or whatever. Like, not at the time anyway. Like, I never considered it, never was interested in it. So it was a no, straight off the bat. Do whatever you can with what you have. So, I'm getting my hair braided, and things they seem to be going really great or whatever. And I got through the whole process of it. I looked at it and I was like, okay, it looks pretty decent. Like, I wasn't upset with it, and I was just hoping that it would stay in for a decent amount of time, after, it was done. So, fast forward, about maybe 2 weeks went by or whatever like that. This hairstyle, it stayed in decently or whatever. Like, it started looking a little shabby, but it was tameable when I put like a mousse or something like that in it. So, day comes where I have to take this hair out. And I'm taking my hair out, and when you take hair out, you get a little bit of shedding, or a lot of shedding. And well, me, I get a lot of shedding for whatever reason, but so I'm like, okay, cool, it's whatever. I'm just gonna keep re-strengthen my hair, do whatever I have to do to get this hair back the way it needs to be. So as I'm taking my hair out, I'm taking a lot of hair out. Like, I'm like, what is going on here? Like, why is so much hair coming out? So as I'm looking through it, I'm like, I picks up something that was in the hair that wasn't consistent with my hair texture or the way that my hair felt or whatever. This felt super synthetic. So I instantly got furious, because because she asked me. It's not like she just did it, she never asked, and it was like, okay, this is what we're dealing with right now. No, she specifically asked me if I wanted her to add hair into my head, and I specifically said in clear English and Spanish, no. And comes to find out, she put the synthetic hair inside of my head. So I'm kind of like, first of all, I'm never going there again. And second, how dare you go completely against what I just told you not to do, and you did it anyway. And I consider that a natural born hair hater, because when a person tells you they don't want something in their hair, if y'all didn't go into detail about why they didn't want it in there, why would you put it in there? I could have been allergic to synthetic hair, or my hair could have been the type of hair that wraps around other substances or whatever the case is really easily, and now my hair is breaking out of my head. So it's, as a hairstylist, you should be the most respectful to a person's wishes when it comes to what they don't want you to do when it comes to their hair. Because most of the time I'm the person taking care of my hair, and I took a risk. It was a calculated risk, but I took a risk even having you do my hair in the first place, and then for you to do something like that, it was like a never again kind of situation. Like, never again will I ever let another person do my hair. And then look, when I think back about it, I noticed that the whole time that I was getting my hair done, she had my chair faced away from the mirror. So obviously there was some
Slippery going on in there.
and she didn't want me to see it, because obviously if you're adding something into a person's hair and they looking or whatever, you could be stopped. But she had me turned away from the mirror so I couldn't see what she was exactly doing, and that got me even more upset, because I'm like, wow, you slick. Like, why would you sit there and actually do something like that, and then you're trying to do it so strategic? It's just like, okay, if he like it at the end, then it don't matter. That's not the point. I asked you specifically not to do it. So for future references, guys, when you want something done by somebody else, pay attention to literally everything. And it's not like I wasn't paying attention to everything. It's just when a person is being slick and you're trusting in this recommendation that someone else gave you as far as how these people operate, how they do hair, how, different things like that, then you kind of sort of let somewhat of your guards down as far as like, crossing your eyes, dotting your I's and crossing your T's when it comes to what they're doing, what they're applying to your hair, with anything. People are super slick out here. And at the end of the day, I don't want you guys to go through the same thing that I had to go through when it comes to somebody else dealing with your hair. And I'm specifically talking to my brothers, because women are way more, I feel, in my opinion, attentive when it comes to those types of things or whatever like that. Like, wouldn't have been no way that you would have been doing some female's hair with her back turned to the mirror the whole time. Like, that would not have happened, period. Like, I know so many females that are so particular about their hair, and that would have never happened. I'm sure of it. But when it comes to us guys, we are very uninformed when it comes to certain things, at least at first, because once you know. But at first we're kind of uninformed, especially when we're starting to try something new, or we're being introduced to something, being introduced to something that we've never really experienced like that before. So it's trial and error. It's really, truly trial and error. But that's one thing that I definitely want to bring to my fellas' attention. Like, look, when you have somebody else doing your hair, make sure that you've observed this person over a course of a certain amount of time. See how that person handles their own hair if it's out. See how they handle other people's hair that they have as clients, and how overall that client or those clients feel about this person's performance. And yeah, just just being attentive and being aware of these things is completely, valid. And I feel like it's necessary, and it's going to be worth it in the long run. Especially with those people who you go in there with your hair shoulder length and you come out with it neck length. Like, it's just, look out. Because people are going to tell you what works best for them when it comes to them doing your hair versus what works best for you as the client and the person who has to walk around with this head. So definitely, take that into consideration and learn from my mistakes. So yeah, guys, you don't want to work so hard for something and then have somebody else mess it up for you. And I know people are probably gonna say in the comments like, oh, it's just hair grows back, da da da. But at the end of the day, it's also a sense of accomplishment. You work on something, you have your hair at its tip top, and then you go somewhere to try to get it trimmed or have somebody else like do something for it. And they just reverse everything that you just did. Or everything that you've worked for up until that point, and you just have such a sunken feeling off of that, because it's like, dang, like I literally put all this time and effort, and because sometimes people, they spend a couple hours on their hair, and it's not because they absolutely have to, but if you're being super gentle with your hair and taking the time out that you need to take with your hair, then that hour or 2 hours is worth it, in my opinion, because you literally are taking care of your hair as if it's a baby. Like, and that's how you have to look at it. Like, with children, with little babies, you have to be gentle. You can't just be roughing the baby up, and people say, oh, babies are tougher than you think. And it's like, look, your hair ain't as tough. So at the end of the day, you have to treat it as if it's a baby. And be gentle. Don't do too many vigorous things when it comes to your hair. And that brings me to the whole concept of, if you're upset, don't do your hair. Don't do your hair. Just the fact that you're as frustrated and annoyed as you are, and then, oh yeah, now that I do my hair, don't do your hair, because all of that frustration that you're feeling and that anger that you're feeling is going to be taken out on your hair. And some people may say like, oh, it's not that serious. No, it is. Even when you're dealing with other people's hair, they know. Like, I know everybody that has some type of hair when they were younger or whatever the case is, and you had that maybe older sister or brother or your mom or somebody, somebody just got them upset in some type of way, and they're like, all right, come on, sit down so I can do your hair, whatever the case is, and then you just getting these going on. It's kind of like, but everybody, I already know that there's somebody out there that relates to that. So what I'm saying is accurate, even more accurate for certain people. So at the end of the day, when you're upset, do not touch your hair. Do not do it. Do not do it at all, because you will definitely regret that over time. And another tip is, if you're in a rush, don't even touch your hair. Don't do it. Because I wouldn't say that it's equivalent to being upset and dealing with your hair, but when you're in a rush, you're not, like, the amount of care that you have went from here to here. So that right there automatically shows you like, look, okay, maybe I can't do it right now. This is something like when you're a person who's always tardy, make sure that you deal with your hair stuff the night before, if you can, because I understand everybody's life is a little different, but if you can't do it the night before, then I don't know, you might have to, at the risk of not damaging your hair, go outside looking just a little crazy. Just a little crazy, because I would rather go outside looking a little crazy than to be rushing through something to do with my hair, and then it's kind of like, dang, I should have just did this, I should have just did that, especially like for women. Women, particularly more often than men, put things like pins and stuff like, like hair pins and clips and different things in the hair, and when you rushing and you just throw that in there, put that there, throw that over to the side, throw that, like that right there, You can't do it. You're not supposed to do things like that because over time it is going to be very damaging. And although you don't feel like, just because you don't feel like a pull at your actual scalp because you're really going crazy for whatever reason, it doesn't mean that you're not still doing some sort of a damage to your hair. So you just gotta be cautious of these things. You can't just, brush. Even if it's one of those, oh, I'm just gonna put like a quick ponytail, can't do much damage with that. You actually can, because what happens is the way that you're handling that ponytail, and then it might be too tight and you realize that I have a little bit of a headache right now. Let me loosen my ponytail. Or you try to throw it up or whatever. People feel like hairstyles are a lot more safe or a lot easier on the hair. However, look, just because you're pulling up doesn't mean that it's not pulling something. So you still have to be very, very careful. Sometimes people's hair is loose on the outside and very, very tight where that scrunchie or clip is, and you just can't do that. So just be very, very gentle with things and try your best to not be in a rush when it comes to the hair part. Like, you could take your time on your hair and rush through everything else. Like when it comes to putting the clothes on, doing this, doing that, throughout the rest of the time that you have to get yourself together, you can rush that. But when it comes to the hair, make sure you're super careful and you're not rushing through anything when it comes to it. Okay, so another thing is put something on your head when you go to sleep. I notice more so people don't put anything on their heads when they go to sleep when they have like braids in their hair. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. You should always have something satin or silk on your head, or you should be laying on something of the same material when you're going to sleep. And that is one of the things that people really don't like. I see so many people, like I've seen cousins and friends and different family, just sleeping with nothing on their head, and I'm like, wow, like,
you just don't care.
And then I don't think that it's really that they don't care. I think it's more so that they don't know better. And if they do know better, they're just kind of like, oh, this one time is not going to really do much. I could do this one time. And you know what? On a very minuscule level, you may be right. One time is not going to really do a whole lot, but that one time can always turn into another time. And another time, it's like, well, I don't do it that often. But now it's some sort of a excessiveness to it on some level, like just don't get in a habit of even doing that at all. If you go somewhere and you didn't plan on sleeping there and you don't have any of your things, sleep like this. The same way like back in the day when women used to get their hair done and it's in this updo and it looks like a Tyrannosaurus Rex kind of hairstyle. They used to sleep just like this and wake up and they just nothing no strand out of place. So you do that one night. You got to do it, because if you don't, then you're gonna have to worry about other things later, because it's always a progressive thing. It's never something that you're gonna see instantly, and it also depends on how long your hair is. I don't know if your hair is longer or shorter, if it's going to affect your hair in such a way right away. But when your hair is rubbing up against whatever you're laying your head on, that's causing damage. That's causing damage. People have a very fried looking hair out here, and it's mainly because they decide not to go to sleep with anything on their head. Like, oh, I'll do my hair in the morning. However, you might not have to do your hair in the morning if you just put something on your head. It could be a do-rag. It could be a scarf, or it could be a bonnet. If you're a curly person, bonnets I feel like is much better for the hair, because then you don't wake up with the smash matted down hair because you had it in a do-rag or you had it in a scarf, and it's tight up against your skull, your skull. But when it comes to like braids, do-rag, it's decent. I don't particularly like do-rags too much, for the fact that you can never really feel how tight it is until maybe hours go by, and then it's kind of like my head is pounding right now. pounding. Like I feel like I lost a fight because this is just too crazy, and then you gotta loosen it up, loosen it up, loosen it up. So a scarf particularly, I mean, I have like these kind of feelings about scarves and do-rags, because with a scarf, you put a scarf on your head, you wake up without it, your head. So it's just, many a times I've done that, and it's like, why even put it on? But yes, the reason why is because you want to put it in at least as much as you can with the friction of your pillow or whatever your case is. Now, if you find yourself not being able to sleep with any of these things, then they have satin pillowcases. They have, you know, all of these alternatives, or you can get a huge satin scarf and sew it into a pillowcase and throw your pillow in there, and boom, you have a miracle happening right now with your ability to salvage whatever hair you still have on your head. But yeah, so that's that. So that's all I have for you guys today, and I hope that these tips and these haters that we need to be aware of was very, very helpful to you guys. Something that you can look out for when somebody say a little something about something, and it's kind of like, I don't know, you sounding a little like one of those
Hair haters.
You know, so yeah, so if it was very helpful to you guys, or if it wasn't helpful and it might have been helpful to a friend, like, comment, and subscribe. I need you guys to share all of my videos so that
people could be up to date with us, because, you know, at the end of the day, you keeping all the information to yourself, it's like, I don't know, it's kind of selfish. I mean, it's your life, but I mean, at the end of the day, you want to kind of sort of share certain things. And when you see one of your friends over there, you know, he's trying to get waves, but all he can accomplish is like whatever that is.
and you just got all this information to yourself. I don't know. I'm not judging, but I have that judge look. Like, tell your friends. Tell your friends about Dale Amor, because, you know, I'm trying to do something here. Like, I'm trying to help us out with the information. There's too many people out here not knowing what to do. So help me help them. Help me help you. So thank you guys for watching, and I would like for you guys to live life, and I will see you in the next video.